welcome to the very first episode of the Funny Money Show. My name is Troy Zimmerman, and we like to cover the lighter side of money. So if you're interested in investing in real estate or the stock market, or you're just looking for some sound money advice and principles, you have found the show that'll make you laugh through it all. And we just wanted to say we're so glad you're here. So today, my partner Nate and I, we're going to be tackling that age-old question of whether or not we should all be considering our houses as assets. Many of you are probably aware of or have heard of Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He is a good personal friend of mine, and we really recommend that book. But he essentially dismantled the theory that your home is an asset. We just wanted to see here at Funny Money, we wanted to see if there was any gray there. So here's what we're going to do. I'm about to present 4 reasons why your house might not be the horrible investment that others would have you believe. Then my partner Nate's going to jump on, and he's going to tell you all the reasons I'm wrong. Then we'll have a few minutes of discussion, and after that, we'll get into the real funny stuff, because I know that's why you're all here. So get ready to learn, to grow, and to have your funny bone tickled here at the Funny Money Show. Why should you consider your house an asset? Number 1, appreciation. Your house will likely appreciate in value over the long term. And while we would prefer that you focus on cash flow as you invest in real estate, there's no denying that long-term real estate prices have continued to increase. In fact, according to a few studies, the average annual return, if you go back 150 years or so, real estate has an annualized return of right around 6% here in the US. So, not too shabby. Number 2, capital gains. So, in the event that your home does appreciate in value, the government actually gives us as homeowners a huge tax benefit here. If you are filing as a single payer, the first $250,000 in gains are completely exempt from capital gains taxes. That number actually doubles to $500,000 if you're married filing jointly. Okay, settle down, because there's more. Number 3, untapped cash flow. Who says your primary residence can't be a cash flowing asset? With the acceptance of Airbnb and other platforms, you could easily rent out a room or a section in your house and bring in cash flow. Now, this is something you have to be comfortable with, and I personally am not. I'd be extremely worried about getting someone like Nate, who's from Wisconsin and always smells like gorgonzola. But if it's something you're comfortable with, you can bring in cash flow. If you own property, there's a way to bring in cash flow. And last but not least, number 4, forced savings. Most of us, if we don't have a specific savings plan in place, we tend to spend what we earn, and that's known as lifestyle creep. But when you have a mortgage payment, a portion of your monthly payment goes towards principal. And while we discussed in number 1, we might not get the best return on that principal, but I'll tell you what that does do. It gives you the opportunity to build equity. And when you have equity, you can actually borrow against it down the road when you do see a truly great investment opportunity. So paying into a mortgage on a monthly basis isn't all bad. So there you have it, my 4 reasons why owning a home might not be the worst investment idea ever. Nate, I've presented my case. I hand it over to you. Good luck.
TZ, I accept your challenge.
That wasn't
challenge accepted.
I believe that a house is not an asset, actually. I actually rent an apartment. I used to own a house. I own a couple properties, but I really do think that houses are liabilities. And I don't have any gorgonzola, but I do have some string cheese. Yeah. It's good stuff. Go Wisconsin. All right. It's time to throw the smack down here.
SummerSlam in the ballot. Oh, to the face. Hogan's gonna finish him here.
I think I've got the valid points here. Troy made a couple of, interesting points regarding your house as an asset. The first one, though, about appreciation, I do have to disagree with that one. While houses do tend to appreciate over a long period of time, as he mentioned, 150 years,
Debe querer correr un montón. Ay, pobrecito.
I'm not going to hold a property for that long, so that's not a big benefit to me. In fact, when I bought my house in 2009, right after or during the Great Recession, we ended up losing $50,000 almost immediately. It took us 10 years to recoup that loss. And right now, because of this pandemic and the looming recession, if I were to buy a house now, I would have to guess that it's going to go down in value over the next couple of years. Wild speculation on my part, but there it is. Now, I believe that assets should bring you cash flow, appreciation, dividends, all these things. One of my biggest beefs with a single family home or a personal residence is that you have a lot of expenses attached to it. Expenses like taxes, maintenance, capital expenditures. You've got lawn care, you've got utilities, all these things that you have to pay for and take care of, and you can't rely on income from your tenants paying all of these things for you. In my mind, that's a liability, not an asset. One of the other big things that I don't like about houses as an asset is that you can't really 1031 into a bigger and better investment. There are a couple very minute circumstances where that can happen, but by and large, the most part, you cannot do that. Also, you cannot depreciate your personal residence, whereas with rental properties, you can depreciate that, which is a huge tax advantage to you. So when it comes down to it, TZ, an asset adds value, not detracts from it. So I really think that a personal residence is more of a liability than an asset. But we can let the audience members decide. What do you guys think?
Please clap.
So TZ, what did you think of my counterpoints?
Yeah. What did we learn? Let's see. We learned you have horrible timing.
This is true. I don't know how to time the market. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it's tough. You're not the only one, but I do
Really?
feel bad
I feel like
about
I'm the only person that's ever tried to do that.
it. Yeah, I bought a house in 2007, end of 2007.
Oh, that was a great time to buy.
That was,
Houses were worth a lot of money then.
That was also not good. But listen, right? I mean, I think in general, Nate, you and I agree that more than likely your home, your primary residence is not going to be a great investment. Cash flow, I mean, it's missing one of the most important parts of what we would consider a solid real estate investment, and that's cash flow, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I liked your point about kind of hacking your house though to provide cash flow. So if you can Airbnb a room or something like that, like that's a great way. Or if you're just house hacking in general. So if you buy a multi-unit property and you're going to house hack one of the units, I mean, that's obviously an awesome way to offset all that stuff. There is a statistic somewhere that homeowners, their net worth is actually much, much higher than renters. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. And one of those is something you touched on. You get that forced equity.
Right.
I think
forced savings. Yeah.
Yeah, the forced savings. And I think, if you are lucky enough to ride some of that wave of appreciation, then you get that extra equity on top of that. So there are definitely some instances where that happens. It just is more of a semantics type of game. Like, is it an asset or not? You can tap into it if you do have equity, but if you're leveraged to the hilt and you buy at the wrong time, you can get upside down real quick.
True. Yeah. And I think anytime you're talking about real estate, a solid real estate investment hopefully has four different things going for it, right? Cash flow being probably first and foremost, you're hoping for appreciation. You do have depreciation, and you have debt pay down. And I think in a home, you're missing a few of those, and primarily cash flow. So yes, I think a home can be an okay investment, because it does capture a few of those. But I think we would both agree, you're really missing a few core pieces to really feel 100% that you're going to end up with a solid investment long term.
What do you think about people who, because rates have been so low for so long and they've kept refinancing just so that their payment is lower? I mean, they're not really attacking that principal then, so they don't get that benefit of that debt pay down. What would you say, to someone that has been doing that, or what's the best strategy, I guess?
Well, I think it depends what you're doing with your monthly savings, right? I mean, if you've considered your house is not your best place to invest, your best place to deploy those dollars, and you're diligent about using your monthly savings through the refi to invest somewhere else, then great. But most people, that's not what they do. They refi to get a lower payment, and then they go out and buy.
It's a lifestyle creep that you were talking about.
It is. So I wouldn't always recommend doing that. Obviously, it's great to get a better rate, and not pay so much in interest. But make sure if you're doing that, you have a plan to invest and save those extra dollars on a monthly basis.
Yeah, if you're saving $200 a month, try to put that into either, probably make more sense just to put it into stocks, or maybe you need an emergency fund still. So build up that first, and then maybe tackle real estate later.
Yeah, or even just continue to pay the same amount on your monthly payment, and that's just an additional amount going to the principal in your home. So that's an option as well.
Right on. All right. Well, I mean, we would love to hear what you guys think, especially homeowners or renters out there. I mean, Troy is a homeowner currently. I'm a renter currently. So I'm sure there's a mixed bag out there. What do you guys think? What would you rather be in? While this pandemic is going on, we live in a pretty small apartment. There's 4 of us here. So we kind of feel the effects of the lack of space. Generally, we like it. Right now, it's a little cramped. So it'd be nice to have a house. I would love to house hack, but it's not quite in the cards for us yet.
It's funny because one of the worst investments I've ever made was putting a pool in the backyard. And for those out there that don't know, I live in South Carolina, so our weather is beautiful right now. Nate moved further north from Chicago. We both came from Chicago. I don't know, man. But anyway, that pool, which I thought was a horrible investment, it's been so great. I have 4 kids. They've enjoyed it. And I don't know. Sometimes not every dollar you ever spend is going to be a great investment. And you got to keep that in mind. So even as I look at a house, is it the best investment? Probably not. But not every investment is going to be a home run, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. And most people are not looking at a primary residence as an investment in the first place. It's because they want a particular location, a particular school district, a particular lifestyle. And so it's more of a happiness play than it is a financial play for most people.
Agreed. So the next section of our show is fondly known as Funny Money Jokes with our good friend Richie Rich Latarts. Here we go.
Hey.
Oh,
Rich.
what's up?
Oh, what's up, buddy? How's Chicago?
Huh?
How's Chicago today?
It's Chicago. It's weather's ridiculous. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
First joke with Rich.
First joke. Well, I mean,
Now, I have a joke for you. Right? So there was a CEO.
okay.
And he went to his office and he started eating.
You're doing great,
snack.
Troy.
Thank
you're
you.
doing
Thank
great.
you.
Okay.
And he dropped his snack. It was a brownie. And he dropped his brownie onto his calculator.
Okay.
You know what happened?
Oh God. What happened?
This poor guy was accused of fudging the numbers.
My God, that's the daddest of dad jokes I've ever heard, my friend. But
Well,
again,
thanks for being with us We probably
Well,
have
hey,
zero viewers this first time, but thanks for being with us. It'll be the four of us laughing and watching.
Well,
but-
you let me know when mom and dad give it a look.
yeah. All right, buddy.
All right, we'll talk to you.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
All right, for our next segment, we've got our $5 challenge. We want to see what you or a friend would do for $5. We want to see some funny, some crazy stuff. Nothing dangerous. Don't be stupid. I think this week, though, it's going to be me or Troy. So let's cut right to that right now.
All right, so for today's $5 challenge, since we have no viewers yet, I'm going to have to do this myself. And today's challenge is me getting sprayed in the face by all of these little kids. So, all right, here we go. Oh, God. Okay, Mary. Right? Once Jet. This one's gonna hurt. Ready? Okay. And that's a $5 challenge. Hopefully you guys, the points that we brought up just got you to think and start considering some different aspects. We look forward to continuing the show. We'll have a different topic, obviously, every week. And we thank you for tuning in.
Yep. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. We will see you guys in the next episode.
We need a sign out.
We should do a sign out. Oh.
I don't have one. TZ.
For funny money, I'm Nate Shields.
Tell it's our first show. So, all right, buddy. I love you.
Love you too, man.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. See ya.
See ya.